Hello there and welcome to the new channel.
Here to help you see
The new you.
My name is Carmine Ortega.
Dennis Calamba.
This is Nato Agbayani.
My name is Juan Lu.
I'm Chino.
I'm Trisha.
This is Apple Manansada.
This is Attorney Carlo Ibanez.
This is Attorney Sheila Santiago.
This is Angie.
This is Orgamit.
My name is Dante Salama.
This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo.
I'm Dania Cunha.
Mon Mendoza.
I am Mapet Erhino.
I'm Leo Bryan. Mike.
Nice for beer.
Sir Ian Barcelona.
Marvin Salazar. This is Sunny Haldons.
Heidi Lumainos.
This is Ivan Jude.
Patrick Geronimo.
Alan Perez.
My name is Erwin Ursua.
Mine was Bob.
My name is Lloyd Luna and this is
Future.
The Talk.
Family Business.
The Puppet Stories.
After Shift.
PNC Town Hall.
YOLO.
Marketplace.
The Home Buyer.
HR Hotline.
Danny Art Show.
Hotline.
Foreign Affairs.
COVID Stories.
Awesome Day Show.
Thank you.
Money and more.
Cybernext.
Women at Work.
Win Within.
Port Project.
The Big Picture.
Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. Sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you. Sometimes life makes you blind and you choose something bad. You just wanna cry and hide and save your face from the crowd. But sometimes life makes you see the beauty in you and me. When you look up above, there is God and there is love. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new. We're here to help you see the newness of life. We're here to help you feel your hope is so real. You got the power to see. We'll help you see the new you. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the new channel. Here to help you see the new you. This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo, your host to this wonderful program, the HR Hotline. Welcome back to the HR Hotline. I just came from a webinar, and it's a webinar on result-based management. And my participants are actually DTI and DNR officers of CAR. So it's so fun. It's fun. I love this. Doing online training, and I'm the one enjoying it. I'm getting to use to talking to a camera and then enjoying what I most like to do, which is actually this is why I retired early to have this uh, second career. Although I started as a professor, yes, I mentioned that because life goes on. You have to move on. You have to bounce forward to the better normal. That is usually I mention. Maybe I am used to it. As I mentioned in my previous shows, I am a Bicolano and I grew up with calamities. We don't even consider them calamities. Typhoons, floods, earthquakes, and eruptions. I come from Legazpi. And nothing to, no worries, no bitterness, nothing to complain. We love the place, we love Mayon, but sometimes when it's time for her to erupt, she erupts. It's beautiful, but the ash fall, and then the the volcanic earthquakes. There was a time that my mom and I were actually on our knees praying. And the typhoons. There was a time that I was with my Lola in a procession going to the cemetery at night, barefoot, for the perdon. There was a time it was my birthday, and there was typhoon. There was a time it was Christmas, and there was a typhoon. There was a time that my dad was actually, we can hear the plane hovering up, but it was not able to land. So we had a Christmas wherein my dad was not around. And there was a time I go to school in Aquinas University, now the University of Santo Tomas Legazpi, flooded. You have to walk in a flooded street. Call it resilience. That we enjoy the forces of nature, the fury of nature. I love what my nephew priest, Father Iao, shared. It's not actually a test of faith. It's actually God reminding us to appreciate the life given to us. So our topic today is moving on. Life goes on. On the parlance of businesses, business continuity. And HR should be in the front. Which is why now in the Baldridge, what do you call that? 4 pillars, wherein you have people, markets, its customers, marketing, operations, and finance. HR is most needed to lead with all these things that are happening. How do we pivot? How do we transition? How do we bounce forward? series of calamities added flavor to the pandemic. 2020 is actually a year of appreciating life, to look into the positivity of it. Which is why I started with, I'm getting used to doing webinars online. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. So life goes on, moves on. I'm still scared. Very, very scared. The only time that I go out of the house is to bring my plants to the altar in Malate. Then I go there at a time wherein only the sacristan is there. Oh, sometimes I go to the gate of the village to buy a few things, but following, I'm still so scared. But life continues. You should see my Christmas tree. Because I'm very sure I will not be able to go home to Bicol. So I'm making sure that despite all of this, I will have to talk with my mom. It's her birthday on 1, 2, 3 on Thursday. But here life continues. The big Aratilis tree was uprooted. But my plants, they still have roots. They're now nature bounces back. It's wonderful to see the plants grow. What do you call that? A leaf that is growing. It's wonderful to see. Just imagine a week ago, there were the pots and everything were destroyed. I have to cut and then tend them. So nature continues, life continues, the enterprise continues. That means that we are just contributing our own time to work. I retired from Inquirer. Inquirer is still there. The enterprise continues. So that is our topic for today. I invited a dear friend. Every time that there are PMAP GMMs before, we meet, and then I can still remember she's always so graceful, and there were times that we have best at the time that there was no physical distancing. And then there was a time that I even mentioned that, my God, I was trying to tease her with her family name. She's a dear friend. And then I look into her profile. It's because we have the same. She's a graduate of UST, and I also am a product of the Dominican. Iba. There's a difference. There's a difference if you are a product of the Dominican school system. Then she is an HR through and through, just like me. Abot, Anchor. And then there was a time that I was able to attend a seminar, and I was actually floored by her. And recently, in PSTD, where I'm the chairman now, she was invited, and seldom that I listen and stay in webinars, I listen to her. She is now the Executive Vice President and COO of a wonderful place in Talisay, Batangas. It's Club Balai, Isabel. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Cecille Arenas Terrible.
Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat.
Cecil, thank you, thank you. You were actually in my list of guests from the start. This is now season 4. The time that I was able to listen to you, watch you, your portion in PSTD, you were actually in my list, and that was around mga 2 months ago, and now you are here in the show. Okay, so how is everything? You informed us earlier you are in Merville, so we are neighbors.
Yeah, you are in Marcelo Green Village. So
Yes. So have you been to Club Balai, Isabel?
again,
Have you? Are you visiting? Have you visited your place in Batangas, Club Balai, Isabel? How often do you go there?
I spend half of the week in Parañaque and half of the week in Talisay. Ayan. So it's half and half.
Okay. Now, the reason why I chose that topic for you, because it's more than resilience. It's actually moving on. Now, let us not talk first about the pandemic. First, personal, and of course, you as the COO. Early this year, there was an eruption. An eruption. Okay. And I'm very sure you were in the news. You were in the news because almost all the, I think the horses and the plants and everything that was really affected by the eruption. Okay. How were you able to, what do you call that? What is the right term for that? How were you able to respond to that challenge? Okay. I'm using positive words. How were you able to respond to that?
Yeah. A very, very interesting stories that I can tell you, Jesse, and I can tell the audience. Kasi, positively, yun yung practice namin. We were able to practice how to respond to a crisis through the eruption in January 12. So for those who don't know, we are right on the shore of a lake. So really across the volcano. So we got the brunt of the eruption. And in fact, there were some news from ABS-CBN saying that, this resort in Batangas can no longer be used, because seeing the that were, what happened to us, parang ganun nga, But, the volcano erupted in January 12. By January 14, 2 days after the eruption, we have started cleaning up, cleaning up the mess. It was a gigantic task. But the thing is, ang daming gustong tumulong. So many volunteers,
I see.
employees, but people, around the community, the suppliers, the business partners, they volunteered to help. So it was really a great opportunity. The Bayanihan spirit was there. And, by February 7, which was less than a month after the eruption, we reopened. So, we were ready then. We reopened, but the business was slow. And, the response of the employees would really make you less anxious because some of them even voluntarily said, let's reduce the work days, And some of them offered suggestions on how we could, increase the business. So there's a lot of volunteerism. There's a lot of concern about the business.
Okay,
And
okay,
yeah,
okay. Let me ask you this. Were you prepared for that? Were you
uh,
prepared? Did you have any? I'm very sure not. Were you prepared for that, or I'm more concerned of the human resource of the employees. Are they prepared for that? I think so because you're beside a volcano, so you expect that there will be eruption. Cecil, there is a connectivity problem. I would just like to know if what were the preparation before that, because I can feel Cecil when she was telling us a story. I can feel the sadness in her eyes and in how she speaks. I know her, so sorry for asking that question. She's recalling what happened to them, but I would like to know. Was there an instance, Cecil? I can feel you, huh? I can see. I can discern your eyes. You're a little bit sad, but I would like to know. You know that you are beside the volcano. Were mentally or physical, were there any preparation that there in at any moment the volcano will erupt? Do you have that sense?
there's always that possibility, and we always said, and some people said when we were establishing the business, don't put your money beside the volcano because it can erupt. But we just said, you could be in the middle of Manila, you put your business there, and then a typhoon and an earthquake can also rock you.
Okay, 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 okay.
It's
Okay,
both a
okay.
blessing and a curse. Can be
So
both a blessing.
after what happened, a lot of those volunteers, and what is wonderful, even your human resource are volunteering to cut on time,
Yes,
cut on, yes. So that is a
yes.
Benny spirit. Okay. So that was, and after that, yeah, the plants grew up again. We are friends in Facebook, and I can see the what do you call it? Nature bounce back. Now, then
Nature
after
bounce.
January, yes.
Yes.
Then after January, then we have the pandemic. What happened?
Oh, yes. Yes. So this is the real deal now. This is where we really have to um, do things differently. We are not even allowed to operate. So
Oh my God.
yeah. So there were some very very quick wins. We are not allowed to operate, but we still need to take care of the garden, the plants. So one thing we did was we employed gardeners from the evacuation center. Some people in the volcano island, they lost their houses, they have no jobs, and they are in the evacuation center. So we employed them, a lot of them as gardeners. And what we did, this is HR's work. What we did is so that we can employ more, we made them half day. So we could employ 12 instead of like 6 lang sila na full day. So this is parang socialized recruitment. We can employ more with less time rather than less but full time. So I think that's a quick action, that a quick opportunity for us to be able to help these people that was displaced by the volcano eruption. At the same time, we need gardeners. So that, I think, was a quick action on the part of HR to recruit people from the evacuation center. Ayan.
Okay. So at this time, your 270 rooms were not used.
No. Our
So what
270
happened to the human resource? What happened to the employees? How many employees do you have, by the way, Cecil?
How many? Sorry.
Employees. How many
Oh,
the staff, the complement?
we had about 250 employees. We had about 250 employees.
So when work was suspended, how many were just taken to work?
Like right now, just looking back. So March 14, they declared the pandemic in the whole of Luzon, so we are not allowed to operate. But in April, we got a contract from the government to be used as a quarantine facility for returning OFWs. No?
Wow,
But
wonderful.
yeah, so it was good in terms of well, revenues. We will not be zero, and it's good income. However, it aroused a lot of anxiety again in terms of like the employees. Some of them thought these were COVID patients. They're not COVID patients. They're just OFWs returning. But some of them refused to work in Balai already because of anxiety. So we did not force anyone to continue working, if they did not want to. But of the remaining employees, we cannot recall everybody. We cannot give duty to everybody. So uh, we just employed a few, those that are needed, and some of those people were not doing what they previously did. Like some massage therapists have become room attendants. Some of the waiters have become room attendants. No, the account executives between front office associates. So really, the flexibility and multi-skilling is paid off in this situation. So, uh, and then so we had that contract for a month, and then after a month, wala na naman, so zero. Until, we had two contracts, but in June, we decided to let go of most of our employees. We have downsized drastically, and only about 30 people remained. Because we still have like farm operations, the organic farm, somebody had to take care of the pigs and the chicken and tend to the plants, no? And now we have ongoing a contract for what we call Oplan Kalinga, and we are now being used as an isolation facility to asymptomatic COVID patients. Ayun.
I
So,
see.
yeah, in all this kasi, Jessie, Balai has transformed. In coping with the changes, we had to transform ourselves, with every step. So this pandemic, all these changes, we have to roll with the punches. And HR has to help us with that. They have a big role in assuring that the new structure is supported. Like now, it's a new structure, it's a new job, it's a new Balai. Next year when we reopen, another preparation, probably another new Balai. The old is really done with. Wala na yun. So HR will really be busy.
Yeah, that is, you nailed it, Cecil. That is what I would like to hear from you. One is that you cannot go back to the old, and two, for all those HR listening, you have to really keep up with the change, catch up with the change. So, what has it been done with what the concept of Balay before? Because you need to have business continuity to pronounce it properly. Yes, the HR must be able to catch up and lead with all the changes. I love it,
Yes.
Cecil. I love it, Cecil, that from a facility for what do you call this? Workers
Returning.
abroad, returnees, and now you are a place for isolation. And then, of course, everybody you have to. Of course, you have to take care of their safety also. But the point here is, people should really be uh, to attune and catch up, aligned. I think it's the word is aligned with the changes that is happening with the with the organization structure, with the purpose. I think, Cecil, if you're going to have your strategic plan now, you really have to repurpose and change your your vision and mission.
Exactly, Jesse. It's no longer a resort for leisure. It is now responding. We're at the forefront of the pandemic. The jobs have changed, the policies have changed. Even we now have to accommodate all our employees in-house. In other words, they can't go out in the streets anymore and mingle normally. They have to be housed within the premises. So that's a big change. Again,
And I'm very sure, you give them trainings or orientation on what to do.
oh yes, that is yun ang kailangan. That is very critical, to communicate with them, to prepare them, to even check on their attitudes and values and how they are coping mentally and emotionally. So very, very frequent checkups, pep talks. HR has to help me do that. Help business leaders do that.
Wow. Cecil, if I can only be to give you, you should be one of those who should be given an award for business continuity, because I can see the transformation. The term for that is pivot. You are just like a dancer. You pivot and pivot. So from the eruption, you pivot to the pandemic, to the facility. So you keep on turning. So
yeah.
before I ask you where you're going, you prepare for that. I would like to ask you, what are the lessons learned? Share with us, Cecil. Diyos ko, dapat mga HR nakikinig sa'yo. This is an opportunity. I will share and share. This is an opportunity. What were the lessons? Listen, Cecil. What is wonderful with you, because you are from HR, you are now the COO.
Yes.
Diba? So, yes, Cecil.
Jesse, when I moved up, from being an HR and became a CEO, that's when I realized how important and critical HR is. Without an effective HR, it would be very challenging. Iba talaga if you have an effective HR working for you, covering all the bases, covering the infrastructure of HR, all the policies, the pay grades, all the job descriptions, performance management. If it's all there, then and then you go strategic, you can go through any of these pandemic eruptions and typhoons.
Alam mo, dalawa lang ang naiisip ko ngayon na gaya sa'yo. Isa lang, si Past President Pilar Almira at ikaw. From HR to COO. Yung isang presidente, ikaw for Balai. So tell us, what are the lessons learned on you being you as a person, and you being as the COO, and then for the entire Balai? Ano yung lessons learned sa inyo? From the eruption to the pandemic and to these changes. Tell us, share with us, Cecil.
Well, the first that comes to mind is for HR people, to relax a little bit and to realize that you're not in this alone. Don't carry everything on your shoulder that you have to.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, continue. Please continue.
Yeah, because what I realized is that during this pandemic or during this eruption, if you arouse that positive bayanihan spirit of the Filipinos, they rise up to the challenge. During this after the eruption, when business was very slow, my executive chef approached me and said, "Mom, I know how much you're paying me, and I know that business is not good. I could reduce my work days. I could go without pay if that will help." Yes. So, and then not everybody, of course, but there are some people like that. We're willing to go without pay. My sales director said, "I'm willing to go without pay if that will help the business." Ayun. And then, one time, I want to just tell you, when we were discussing about the downsizing, I was discussing it with my finance director, and we were computing the numbers. And it was a tense meeting. And then, suddenly she stopped and told me, "Mom, how are you?" That that meant a lot to me to comfort me. So, we should not forget those little things, because those little things really mean a lot. Just to be asked, how are you, while we were discussing the downsizing, is something that I cannot forget. Yeah. So that's the first lesson learned, that we can hold on to everybody, invoke the Bayanihan spirit, and you cannot be alone. Okay, you should not feel alone. Okay. Second is that you should you should be in the thick of the action. Never leave the forefront. If you're HR or any other kind of leader, be with your leadership team, because this pandemic, this volcanic eruption, involves everybody, even the community. HR should also be involved in the community. In our case, when we had this, yung OFWs returning, coming to Balai, the community was very anxious. They wanted to, they were threatening to hold a rally in front of Balai to say, you should not be accommodating these OFWs. And we understood, we reached out to them. We were called to a meeting of the Sandigan Bayan to explain how we are doing it, the precautions we are taking, and to say that these OFWs are not COVID patients. They just need to be quarantined because they came from another country. So those things, if you have the forefront and miss all this and not respond to this thing, the pandemic will eat you, the changes will eat you, will not be able to ride the wave, so to speak. And then support the new and evolving structure. This is for HR. So support the new and evolving structure. Our role has been taken, and the dust is not settled yet. So it's not yet, if you look at the model of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross na, into integrating na tayo into action, not yet. It's still shaking. So while we are less anxious now, because we have, marami na tayong nagawa, and there are strengths that we never knew we had, we are applying to the situation. It's still evolving. So be supportive of that. No, like for instance, for HR, no job descriptions muna. While things
yes, that's true. That's true. Wala munang job description kasi it's evolving. Wala muna.
Yeah, in the case of Balai, one day you'd be a front office officer, another day you're a room attendant, another day you're a driver. So people have to be agile. People have to move where they are needed. People have to adopt new skills. So, ayun. What else?
Yes. So those are the lessons learned. Before we have the break, so what you feel as a COO, where are we leading to? Yeah, you know, I remember the song of "Do You Know Where You're Going To?" Of course, it's VOCA and it's very difficult to answer. But I can see that you have been pivoting into something for your business continuity, and then there is volunteerism, and people are actually also very collaborative and then supportive with the changes. Where are you leading to?
Yeah, Jesse, there are many joyful possibilities in the future.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah, has taught us a lot of things. For instance, the work from home, I think, will not go away. We'll continue to have people working from home, but it has to be more pleasant, because I hear a lot of complaints now na mas mahirap yung work from home. So a challenge is how to make it more pleasant. And as for Balai, Isabel, because of the downsizing, we discovered that, people can really do more. And if you feel the idea that more is better, more skills is better. So the possibility would be better pay for less, because we have to employ less people. There's better pay, and that's just one of the benefits. Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a break first, and after that, I'll have more questions for you. I reckon we have the first break. Thank you, Cecil. Wonderful conversation. Before we have Cecil Arenas terribly back, can we have the poster wherein I have to show to them the various TNC shows? So from the big picture to the HR hotline, to the family business, to the Ford project, Usapang Beauty, COVID stories, and market leader. Please watch TNC shows. U-Turn, the home buyer, puppet stories, YOLO, couple goals, the talk, after shift, win within, Danny's stories, well home, women at work, awesome day, tech you, and one day. Make it a habit, subscribe, and be with us. Let's have Cecil back. Yes, you know, Cecil, I invited my best friend, Femari Cabantac. I don't know if you know her, Femari Cabantac, PSTD past president last year. And then we discussed about empathy. And she specifically mentioned that empathy cannot be taught. Empathy can be caught. So now we're talking about moving on and resilience. As a COO and as an HR, how were you able to influence your people to move on? What were the ways that you were able to show resilience? Cecil? Direct, we are having some problems with Cecil. I'm going to, you know, Cecil is the best, is an authority because of what happened to Balai Isabel, Balai Isabel. And I would like to ask her, what are the ways that you were able to show and influence your people? Because I was told that resilience, just like empathy, cannot be taught. It is caught. So you have to show it. What were the ways that you were able to show to them that you have that they are just like fishes, they're following you, they're flowing with nature. Can you tell us, Cecile, share with us, please?
Well, actually, you said it already. It's being for yourself, by showing your resilience and your empathy, you can influence the people to to do the thing. If you're willing to take risks, like for instance, when we took those OFW, it was a risk because during that time, people were so anxious. The community was so anxious, but we were willing to take risks. We were among the first ones, the first establishments who agreed to take in quarantine OFW. I think by showing an example of yourself, that's how you teach people that, maging matapang tayo. Let's take risks. So that's how we rally people.
But of course, I know that you have business continuity sessions with your managers.
Oh yes, you cannot take the business out of the equation. You should always think of ways going forward. We had several sessions. We tried several approaches. Like one of the things we said was we are going to market to long-term, but that did not materialize. There is not much of a market for long-term lease or long-term rent. But there is a demand now for like ito nga, isolation facility, quarantine facility, and the revenues are not bad. And with less people to manage, it's so much easier. Yeah.
I see, I see. So wonderful. Now, moving forward, so what else are you visioning? What are your vision in the future? Because this is just something that we are passing through, and then this is just after catching up, and then for your business continuity. What are the other plans for given all this? What are the plans for Balai?
How if we are lucky enough to reopen next year, it would be a much more efficient operations. We've learned so much from the past. We were like in a way chasing our tails because operations was really taking a lot of time to manage. We were sort of like chasing our tails. During the lockdown, we were able to think and again strategize, and we had a lot of ideas to reopen again. This are what we're doing. One of the things that we said was to have more processes subcontracted and legitimate subcontracting. Of course, not labor only contracting. So, like we have recently subcontracted our laundry operations, which we used to operate ourselves. So that created a lot of efficiency and cost effectiveness. And the other thing that we were thinking of was to have the F&B operations also subcontracted or outsourced, not just one, but maybe two.
Wow, Cecil, what you're telling me is actually an actualization of VUCA. The gig economy, the on-call, and you're going into that process. I love your discussion about you're chasing your own tail because you're young. So what is different is that you did not actually close a lot of organization. The only thing that they have to do is freeze and close, and you did not do that.
No.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And still, there is income for the business continuity. And then you might have done a lot of training for your people to be that the reaction is positive, for their positive reaction to the changes.
Yes, and I think it's also a matter of the culture that we have developed in Balai, the culture of trust, the culture of cooperation. So, it paid off. It paid off during the pandemic because if we didn't have that culture and this thing came, I'm sure it would not be, the same survival rate that we are having right now. So, the culture that we have built over the years have paid off. And then the other thing, for another joyful possibility is that we have realized the benefit of multi-skilling, and flexibility. So we now put a premium on those types of people who can be flexible and are multi-skilled. So we are thinking a different performance grade, different job grade for such people. They are the treasures.
But you told us operationally, no job description first. None for the moment, because it's still evolving. The jobs are still evolving. I've seen your post wherein you congratulated somebody who he has a broom. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I had a
I am your stalker. I am your stalker. I've seen that. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I had a post about an employee that we have. His name is Norel Agno, and he's actually a licensed, a registered nurse. And he is multi-talented and multi-skilled. So even during the normal operations we had in Balai, he started with us. Well, he started as a front office associate, also a nurse, and he can also be a driver and a bellman. And
Wow.
and he became an account executive, a top performing account executive. So now with the limited operations that Balai has, he is a nurse, he is a front office associate, he's a guest relations officer, and he is also an occasional room attendant. So these are the types of people that we now have, hold in, esteem. So I don't know, probably this is the evolution of work. Di ba? Remember, we used to have the star performer, the one champion, and then the team performer is the new champion. Maybe after this pandemic or during this pandemic, the new champion is the multi-skilled, agile, flexible employee.
I love that. I love that, Cecil. Because for those HR listening to us, we have here Marie Cor Militante, Kate Kahintong, and even my cousin Leo is telling us if you can just plus now a picture of Balai, Isabel, because he's working with a show so that they can have a, what do you call this, location for taping, for the locking taping. Anyway, well, my reaction to you is that yes, HR should learn from your experience and from the lessons that you're telling us. Is that we are now looking for a multi-skilled employee. I had this in one of my talks. We are now actually in the digital, wherein we expect people, we train people to be savvy with digital. But before that, we were what do you call that? Knowledge workers. Even the gardeners, even we need information. No, I love that. I love that because I even coined a new word, novel producer. But I forgot to input the multitask. So there can be a change in that perspective wherein we have the 9 bucks, the one that you were mentioning, the performer, the potential. Yeah. I think we have to change our mindset on that, because the one that is actually now who is the star player will be the multitask person, the one who can produce. So we have to break silos. I love that, Cecil. I love that. We have to break silos. But it's the preparation, it's the culture. It needs a lot of convincing. But how did you do it? How did you do it, Cecil?
Well, I think it's first, the culture has been there. It's paying off. The culture of trust, the culture of cooperation. So it has to be there. I think it's a requirement. But also the the way you recruit people is very, very important. So
Nailed
matagal
it.
nang sinasabi.
You
Recruit for
nailed it. You nailed it. You nailed it. It's the sourcing, the way you recruit people. Kasi siguro naman, in the 200, was there any problem as far as, say, the reduction is concerned? Or there was less problem? None? See?
There was no
Kasi
problem.
that means that when you recruited, you were after the attitude rather than the skill. Right. So it pays nga. It pays nga to have a CEO. COO who is a former HR. So, so, ikaw, how do you, change? Kasi you told us that one half of the week you are there, half of the week you're here. So, what are the changes as a COO? Anong changes sa'yo? How do you cope?
Yeah, well, as a COO, I'm very controlling. So I will, have a weekly meeting to review the results of operations every week. And every night, I would call up uh, the report also to know if there are some patient issues. But right now, uh, maybe because of the pandemic, and maybe because I'm also getting older, I
No, you're beautiful pa ang Cecille kaya.
I've learned to let go of control and to be more relaxed. So now, I still I still ask for the results of operation. I still get updates, but I don't do it on a regular basis. I sometimes there'll be updates, and it's okay if there's none because the operations now is very, very, it's much easier. So what I realized myself is that things can be really easier. So
Okay.
life doesn't have
But
to be.
it takes, Cecile, it takes a lot of a positive mindset. Kasi
Yes.
you know with the preview that I prepared for us, you are that person yung talagang from the fear zone to the growth zone. Ikaw yun eh. You underwent that process. Yeah. So
We survived.
ano yan?
We survived. We are surviving. We're thriving.
Yeah. When I'm just curious about yung spirituality mo as a person. Kasi
Uh,
you need a lot of a lot of what do you call this? Anong bala mo eh? Anong bala ni Cecil Arenas Terrible? Na talagang yung nangyari sa iyo from the eruption to the pandemic to the typhoon, you didn't even tell us about the typhoon. Ano yung typhoon? Ano yung bala mo?
I think without the spiritual aspect and without spiritual growth, all of this would bring me down, would have brought me down,
Yeah.
with all this uncertainty. I think it's the faith. Also, I think it's I have a very good group, spiritual group that I meet with, I chat with regularly every week. So that that supports me spiritually. We read scriptures, we read spiritual books, and we share experiences. I think it's very important for everybody, not just me, not just HR, but everybody to have that spiritual growth, practice, learning, support group, that could help you with these challenges that you are facing.
Of course. Kasi yung outlook yan eh. Yeah, because outlook yan eh. It's your mindset. It's your growth mindset. It's your growth mindset. Kasi any CEO and HR of Vandergand with this, the best thing to you is to really freeze and then close everything. Right. Anyway, we'll have the second break, and then after that, I will have to ask you one more question and then your parting message. So, can we have the second break there, Direct? Oh my God, what a wonderful conversation with Cecil. Can we have the last break, Direct? nakikinig siguro sa direct sa atin. Direct, and for the information of everyone, you have to skip the portion of job fair because we are dedicating our Thursdays on hotline and consultations and job fair. So we'll omit first the slides the posters that we have. Can we go back to Cecil? By the way, Cecil, I would like to invite you if you have time. Thursdays, join us. It's a nice chat if you have time. I gather some problems, concerns from my students in PMAP and ECOP, and then I place it here, and then we discuss through the chat, and it's fun. Maricor, Pearly, and it's fun. If you have time, join us. Anyway, my question is, let's go back to our topic, which is moving on, which is bouncing forward, which is actually pivoting. Before you give your parting message, can you share us your thoughts on this, on moving on? And you are I think, an authority on this. What are your thoughts on moving on? Hindi naman yung relationship, ha? Nag-move on. Moving on and this, with all these calamities, earthquake in the south, flooding in the north. Can you share with us your thoughts on moving on, bouncing forward? Please, Cecil.
It's really a matter of rolling with the punches. We have the earth shake is not done yet, so be ready to flex some more. So just see that there are opportunities even during the pandemic. If you look for opportunities, you will find them. So it's really not all bad. Moving on, there are many learnings like the work from home, like the more efficient processes, like the new opportunities for growth. It's really not bad. It's really not bad. So you cannot relax yet. You have to continue to bounce. But we now realize that we should be less anxious, that we have strengths that we have not realized before. So this pandemic is really making us stronger, more agile. So just continue. We're doing well. Most of us are doing well. We are doing well in Balai. Thank God.
Okay. Can we now have your parting message to our viewers?
Well, my parting message, I guess, is that to look at these challenges like the eruption in a different way, in a positive way, like the eruption with all the tons of ash fall that fell on us on Balai. It's now nourishing the soil. It is mineral rich, and the lake has more fish now. So nature had a chance to recover, and the trees are more green. So it's not negative. The volcano is a function to regulate air pressure, like a radiator in a car, to regulate the pressure from inside the volcano. So it serves a purpose. So we have to look at it on a different way. And this pandemic, I think you would agree with me. There are so many benefits. You had more time for family. You had more time to think strategically. You had more time to separate the essential from the non-essential. So take that and take action for joyful new possibilities for HR, for the leaders, and for all of us. Yun lang, yes.
Thank you very much, Cecil. Thank you very much for this wonderful sharing that you did. Ay, hindi lang ito ang una ha. Mauulit ito sa sunod na season. So that will be updated, so that the viewers of HR Hotline will know how you are thriving and faring. Para bang it's now a continuing update on Balai. Thank you, Cecil Arenas Terrible. So there goes, ladies and gentlemen. Listening to her, I learned a lot, and what I can recall is what I mentioned in my emotional intelligence webinars, which I got also from CSB, the PERMA. You can see from Cecil, it's actually the positive emotions. Look at her word, robust terminologies on emotional intelligence, joyful. There is no bitterness in their language, so it's all positive emotions. And then the commune with nature, that is a positive emotion. Then the other one is engagement. She goes there, despite the fact that it's scary. Then she calls meetings. She's engaged with what they're doing. She's engaged on the changes for business continuity. And the other one is relationship. As we are told, those things cannot happen if there was no good relation before that. The culture that she was telling us. And then the other one is the meaning. She's telling us about the meaning of what is it, the meaning of this for telling us about it's a wonderful world. The fishes are there, the grass are more green, and then so the meaning. And the last one, the little accomplishments that she has. And you can see it there. But I can discern that there's a sadness in her eyes. But when she talks about a little of their accomplishments, so it's actually the possibilities and the positivity of the pandemic. And I hope we can share this to all in PMAP and PSTD and to all HR and management. Balai Isabel has really experienced the brunt of nature. But the people working in Balai, Cecil in particular, and then the HR, they are thriving, catching up with the changes. And it's wonderful that we can hear this is a best practice, the lessons that we are hearing. I feel so good now listening from Cecil that life continues. Although I can already feel a tear in my eye. Si Cecil, pinapayak mo ako, ha? That there is that resilience, that desire to live. All of this again come from my nephew. It is not a test of faith. Spirituality is needed, but it is more appreciating and taking the opportunity what God has given us. Club Balai Isabel has repurposed. I am very sure they have wonderful vision, mission pre-COVID. But they are so agile. they are resilient, that they pivot with the change. Thank you, Cecille Arenas Irivli, for this wonderful sharing. Diyos mabalos po. This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo.